We need to talk about Deshaun Watson, the Houston Texans quarterback. Oh, man. He's had a quietly impressive year this year, where Houston is just a mess on both sides of the ball all around him. I mean, their offensive line is awful. They cannot run the ball. They're literally the worst running team statistically in the entire NFL. They have had a ton of injuries. They're terrible on defense. They've been unimpressive at receiver. Again, statistically, the worst running team in the NFL. They're also statistically the second to last defense in the NFL. So they're the second to worst defense in the NFL. They're terrible running the football. All they really have is a quarterback, Deshaun Watson. And I believe, and I'm spitballing here, but in The Hobbit, there's a mountain called the Lonely Mountain. And I just always imagined it as this peak that stands out above everything else around it. That's Deshaun Watson on the Houston Texans. And you can throw in, maybe it's a twin peak with J.J. Watt there as well. It's Deshaun Watson just standing out above everybody else, and everybody else is just nothing around him. It's like, man, this poor guy is just this lonely mountain out there hoping to get some help and get some support around him. By the way, they also fired their coach in October, and this offseason they traded away DeAndre Hopkins. Remember, Deshaun Watson's security blanket, his best friend, his receiver, his guy who anytime he was in trouble, he could go find Nuke and throw him the ball. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, losing him was another example of just, man, this Texans football team has just beating the crap out of Deshaun Watson. It's so sad. And context matters. And the situation around Deshaun Watson is awful. Awful. However, despite that, he's having a good year. I've been watching Deshaun Watson every week, and I go, man, and I watch probably way too much football. They're a 4-9 football team. I watched every game they played this year, and I should not have, but I have. Because I like Deshaun Watson. He plays very well. He plays clean. He plays efficient football. And every time I watch Deshaun Watson, all kinds of stuff happens around the dude. Stuff that the guy cannot possibly control. Dropped passes, fumbles, immediate pressure where he'll catch the snap and there's 3 guys in his face instantly, and you go, I don't know what you do there. That's a 4-man rush. You can't block 4 guys with 5 offensive linemen. And sometimes a running back, by the way. His defense gives up a ton of points. And when your team is really, really bad, it's easy to develop bad habits. I think the prime example of this is Carson Wentz, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, where Carson was holding onto the ball way too long. He was forcing throws, trying to make something happen. He called it hero ball. And that's part of why Carson Wentz, the Eagles quarterback, has had such a bad year and eventually got benched for Jalen Hurts. I think he was already struggling with accuracy to some degree. And the pressure amplified things. And then having a bad offensive line, having receiver troubles. I mean, he was jacking the ball all over the place, playing hero ball, holding on the ball, taking sacks. He had a fumble against the Cowboys where he extended the play. It's like, throw the ball away, throw the ball away. And Carson just held onto it, fumbled out. It was just so frustrating. I made a video about it. If you want to go watch it, you can. So the number one thing I can praise Deshaun Watson for this year is that he has not added to his team's problems at all. At all. He's made great decisions. He's been very accurate. Dude has been patient. He's thrown 26 touchdowns this year, 5 interceptions. Also, I think he's run for 3 or more touchdowns. So I walk away from this year thinking that, man, Deshaun Watson deserves a ton of credit for how stable he's been this year. Despite the bad team around him, Houston's 4-9. I mean, against Chicago, for example, they had a drive that got ruined by penalties. They had a false start and then a holding penalty. That's 15 yards of penalties from, I think it was started on 2nd down and just ruined the drive. He also got sacked for a safety on a play where the Bears brought a 4-man rush. And by the way, you have 5 offensive linemen. So 5 offensive linemen and a running back in the backfield. Chicago brought a 4-man rush, and his right guard, his right tackle, and his center all completely failed their blocks. Just completely missed. Got badly beaten. So Deshaun Watson got sacked in the end zone. That's 2 points for the other team. On another drive, Duke Johnson fumbled. That's a turnover. Drive ruined. And on a 3rd and 8 on their first drive, the Bears sent a blitz. And Deshaun Watson, being at this point, a mature quarterback, said, hey, I recognize a blitz. If you blitz me, that means you got a weakness in coverage. I'm going to catch the ball and throw the ball to beat your blitz. He did that. And guess what? His receiver did not get his head around. It's called a hot route. If they blitz, alert, alert, alert. You need to look for the ball, get your head around. Receiver did not get his head around. Made Deshaun Watson look bad, and threw an incomplete pass. Like, it's so many things are going wrong. And I hate to be the guy, but it's not Deshaun Watson's fault. It's, hey, receiver, get your head around. Hey, offensive line, how about 3 of the 5 of you don't just completely whiff? How about we not have really bad penalties that cost us 15 yards on first? Let's say it was first down, right? First down. You're what? First and 25 now? That's not, you can't have that. That can't happen. Can't have fumbles, can't have turnovers, can't have all these problems. It's crazy to me. And everything I listed from that game is just the first half. It might not even be the end of the first half. I just stopped paying attention. I stopped caring. I stopped dissecting what was ruining their drives and started just feeling bad for Deshaun Watson. Guy got sacked 6 times. He had pressure in his face all day. And those 6 sacks are not really indicative of how many times he had pressure in his face because of all the other times where he escaped pressure. He got away. He made them earn it. He was making guys miss in the backfield. I mean, I feel so bad for Deshaun Watson. This poor guy has... I really, what's sad is that, number one, shout out to Deshaun Watson. His team is awful. And he's playing about as good as he possibly could, right? He's controlling everything he can control. Everything he can control, he's doing a very good job. He can't control idiot receivers. He can't control fumbles or bad protection or this or that. But everything he can control, he's done about the very best he possibly could. But what's sad is that I walk away from this season 4-9 right now, feeling like, man, Deshaun's playing really well. Just imagine if he actually had a good team around him. Imagine if he had some help. It's like we would be watching Deshaun Watson destroy the NFL, just ripping people apart. And we don't get to see that because his team is inept. And oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. It's disappointing. Star power is being wasted. And it's a sin among sins to have a great quarterback and not give the poor guy some support. That's what's happening in Houston. It drives me nuts. Every week I watch it, and every week I just get more and more angry at Bill O'Brien, who's not even there anymore, and this stupid organization. Thank goodness they're paying him a lot of money. I mean, they better be, right? It's just so unfortunate. It's so disappointing. And I feel bad for Deshaun Watson.